Welcome to this episode of the Colleague Experience. Today, we're diving into bold insights, experimentation, and groundbreaking leadership strategies that transform organizations. In this episode, we'll explore the dynamic concept of energy management in leadership, inspired by James Joule's legacy and the role of a CEO as a Chief Energy Officer. Discover how energizing teams can lead to increased initiative and engagement, creating a thriving workplace. Let's start. James Joule died in October 1889. At the top of his gravestone is the seemingly random number 772.55. Seemingly random, but of course it isn't. That number, 772.55, represents the energy needed to heat 1 pound of water by 1 degree. A major discovery by Joule, who never received a formal education and was originally meant to take over his family's brewery. His father sent him to learn chemistry so he would understand the trade, but that's where Joule caught the science bug and ended up creating a research lab in his own home. Early on, the scientific establishment didn't take him seriously. They were unimpressed by someone without formal credentials and refused to publish his findings. However, his law of conservation of energy and a series of other breakthroughs later earned him acceptance. The basic unit of energy in physics, the joule, is named after him. Joule's law of energy conservation states that in a closed system, energy doesn't vanish. It can only change form. What about energy in human systems? We once knew a manager who said the world is divided into two kinds of people: energy givers and energy takers. He used to say that our job is to be the energy givers and stay away from the energy takers. We're sure you'll agree that there are moments when we can feel this distinction. Some people make us feel like our energy is draining away, leaving us as empty as discount store AA batteries that die out the moment we need them. It's true that this kind of division is oversimplified. The same person can be a giver in some circumstances and a taker in others. But it's a useful way to look at things. And what about us? Are we givers or takers? Let's hold off on answering that just yet. One of the CEOs who participated in our executive program had an interesting theory. The CEO's role is to manage energy in the organization. He said CEO actually stands for Chief Energy Officer. This idea is worth reflecting on, and it applies not only to CEOs but to anyone in a senior role. We invite you to do the following mental exercise. Try to imagine how your organization would function if every single employee came to work with maximum energy. The same people with the same talents, abilities, and professional experience, but operating at a higher energy level. For the sake of anyone who insists on asking, what exactly do we mean by energy? We believe it's enough to assume we all know what an energized organization looks like. Still, if we had to pick one quality that describes an organization with high energy, we'd say senior managers feel less lonely at the top. They don't sense that they alone care about making a difference. They feel their employees are true partners in guiding and managing the organization. So, how do we imagine this kind of workplace? Some of us may think there wouldn't be a big difference, perhaps because our teams already have plenty of energy, or because energy isn't the issue. But we suspect most of us would say the organization would function at a significantly higher level. This brings us to the human version of the law of conservation of energy. When there's high energy in the system, it doesn't disappear. It transforms into actions that change the reality of that system. We've met many managers who dream about creating this energized organization, but they've struggled to make that dream come true. In our consulting work with a construction firm, we watched a project manager deal with endless deadlines and constant turnover on the site. Instead of just solving each person's problems, he started focusing on raising the crew's overall energy. Recognizing good work with a quick word of praise, getting everyone's input on a shared goal, and encouraging the team to solve issues on their own. That subtle shift in approach dramatically improved the pace and quality of work and created a more positive atmosphere. In another instance, we consulted for a biotech startup where the senior leadership team found themselves firefighting endless operational crises. One of the partners invested more in energizing discussions, offering real encouragement and highlighting small wins during weekly all-hands meetings. Over a few months, the teams began taking more initiative. Employees felt ownership for challenges that used to land solely on management's shoulders. That transformation showed us, yet again, how quickly energy can be passed around when leaders treat it as the core of their role. Why is it so hard to maintain that level of energy? Let's circle back to the earlier question with a slight twist. We should ask ourselves, to what extent are we energy givers to our organizations? Not if we are, but to what degree? After reflecting on that, let's ask a second question. Is there anything more important managers can do for their organization than injecting energy into it? Could it be that if we minimize the operational and bureaucratic parts of our job and poured that time and focus into energizing our teams, we would bring far more benefit to the organization? Returning momentarily to the realm of a physics, for centuries, scientists tried to build a machine that could produce more energy than it consumes. A perpetuum mobile, or perpetual motion machine. Eventually, science proved that such a machine was physically impossible, although that hasn't stopped people from trying to build one up to our time. But with human beings, it's different. Human energy is not only contagious, but infinite. The energy we give to our employees and colleagues becomes actions and initiatives they take, which in turn convert back into energy, flowing back to us, so we can continue injecting more energy into the system. And on it goes. Here's a question worth considering as we head home from work. What did we do more today? Did we solve problems for people who had run out of energy? Or did we give them the energy they needed to solve problems independently? As we wrap up, remember that just like James Joule's legacy transformed our understanding of energy, leaders can energize their organizations by focusing on team dynamics rather than traditional management. Keep the energy flowing and stay tuned for more updates.